We continue on with our high school basketball playoff discussion. Plus, the ever so popular Jack Kapp is back to learn a new sport. Next on Varsity Voice, presented by SFBN. Catholic League and the team that everybody's talking about. One final thought. Let's get a big, bold prediction. Welcome to another edition of Varsity Voice presented by SFBN. I'm your host, Ari Bluestein, joined as always by Mike Samsel. And, we talked about the PAISAA championships last week, and it really kind of went as we thought, especially on the boys' side. Westtown ends up winning the whole thing, and fairly decisive, although GA and EA kind of kept it close.
Yeah, they did, but Westtown, this team is just so strong. You look at this team from top to bottom. You got guys like Mo Bamba, but it wasn't really Mo who carried him. It was Brandon Randolph who had a really big tournament.
Yeah, and Westtown, they win the championship, and it was a sweep for the Friends League as the Strippoli school ends up winning it. And, we talked about them. They lost to Abington Friends twice during the year, but end up getting their revenge, which we both thought would happen, and end up beating GA in a very close game as well. So the Gators with another state championship.
Well, it's really hard when you're matched pretty evenly talent-wise to beat a team 3 times in 1 year.
Right.
And I really think this Strippoli team and that Abington Friends team are pretty close talent-wise. And Strippoli just had the experience coming down the stretch. That's a good basketball team. And props to GA, because I actually thought the scores would be kind of reversed, where Abington Friends was a little bit closer of a game, and then you'd see them play GA, and GA would have the bigger scoring margin. But Germantown Academy gave Strippoli all they were looking for. You got to give props to the Patriots.
Yeah, and on the girls' side, that was the game, the semifinal against Abington Friends. I feel like if they were going to win that game, they would win the whole thing.
Right.
But like you said, you're right. GA definitely gave them a fight. They're a very good program. Great head coach in Sherry Reddiff, a great tradition there at GA, who beat EA in the de facto Interac in the semi-Interac championship in the other semifinal. So Strippoli wins. They get another state title. Westtown repeats. Again, no surprise. And we talked about that, where GA, the team that played Westtown in the championship last year, they don't have Devin Goodman this year. Right. So kind of went as planned. Like you said, we were pretty smart. Got that one right. So the Friends League sweeps the PAISAA.
You know where we weren't smart? District 1.
No, but not a lot of people were that smart in 6A. That did not go as planned. Both 1 seeds go down in 6A and 5A. We'll talk about 6A first here. Cheltenham, the 8 seed, knocks off Justin Dworsky and the Perkiomen Valley Vikings.
And what a huge win. And you can read the entire game story on the SFBN.com. But the thing that really surprised me is the head coach, John Timms. He made a kind of an interesting admission after that game. He said, we just planned for Justin Dworsky when we played them last year. We didn't plan for the whole team. I thought that was a pretty interesting admission. And this year he said, no, we came out and we planned for Perkiomen Valley. And Justin Dworsky went off because that's what Justin Dworsky does. He's a really good player. But just as a basketball philosophy, I always like the idea of, hey, the best player is going to do what the best player is going to do. Let's not let number 2, number 3, number 4 beat us. Let's not let those secondary guys get going. And that's what Cheltenham was able to do. They held Perk Valley really in check with that secondary scoring. And Ahmad Bickley, who doesn't even have that much varsity experience, comes out in the playoffs, puts up 24 against Dworsky, and essentially cancels them out.
Yeah, I mean, Bickley really had a nice game, and you mentioned about the varsity experience. Cheltenham only with the 1 senior, Trayvon Pitts, very good player, but he's the only one with serious varsity experience. Bickley was on varsity last year, but barely played.
Right.
So you've basically got a young, inexperienced team knocking off PV, and in fact, I didn't even have Cheltenham in my bracket beating Springford in the first game, so they proved me wrong there and then go even further by knocking off the 1 seed. And we mentioned in 5A, the 1 seed goes down as well. Chester losing to Upper Merion. And, when we were talking about the brackets, when they came out, Josh Verlin of City of Basketball Love said, watch out for Matt Fall. Watch out for this matchup. Chester might go down here, and guess what? They did.
And Matt Fall impressed me so much in this game. Finished with 23 points, 10 rebounds. That's all good. That's what Matt Fall is going to do. As I just said, the best basketball player on the floor is going to do stuff like that. But to go into Chester, get a tough win in that atmosphere, that's a really good win for this Upper Merion program. They got to be happy that they're officially in states now. But the thing that surprised me most, and I shouldn't say surprised, but impressed me most, on the free throw line where it's easy to think. It's easy to let your mind wander. It's easy to look around the gym and go, whoa, it's pretty crazy in here. There's a lot of people. Matt Fall, 8 of 8 from the free throw line. Very few spots in sports do I believe in the concept of choking, if you will. You know what I mean? Sometimes shots just don't go in. Free throw line is one of the places where you really have an opportunity to think. Matt Fall didn't let that happen. Went up to the line, hit his shots, won a game.
Yeah, and that's certainly a sign of a very good player and a Division I player.
Yeah.
At that, he's going to be in a lot of those types of atmospheres at the next level. So Upper Merion and Cheltenham pull off the upsets, and we'll see what happens the rest of the way in the 6A and 5A brackets in District 1. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back with more next on Varsity Voice presented by SFBN.
Hi, I'm Tommy Greene, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. When I was in high school, it was very important to me to show scouts what I could do. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you're a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAISAA.
Flippin' Shakes has everything from burgers to sandwiches to delicious milkshakes. The Sports Fan Base Network crew chows down on a variety of favorites, from classic egg creams to the trending mac and cheese burger. Located at 233 2nd Street Pike in Southampton, you can dine in or take out. Flippin' Shakes, great food, great service, a flippin' good time.
This segment is brought to you by Valley Financial Group, certified financial planners that organize your financial life and design plans for leaving your legacy. Valley Financial Group, helping you live the life you earned.
Welcome back to Varsity Voice. We've talked about high school basketball so much over the last month, but bowling is also very competitive this time of year. So we sent out who else but Jack Kapp to learn from two of the best.
You're going to talk to me about the equipment, all the proper equipment. Why don't you get started with that?
All right. There's a lot more to bowling than a lot of people know. There's balls that do a bunch of different things. So, like, all right, this is a main ball of mine. This is a strike ball that will actually curve and move and go right through the pocket, whereas a ball like this is a spare ball, which will go completely straight, and that's for things like, you know, single pins, corner pins. For those are mine, and these are house balls that you'll see at like every single bowling center.
The old-fashioned ones.
Yeah,
that's the one I'm going to use.
These absolutely don't move at all. They're used by every single person. I will wipe a ball off with this to get oil off the ball.
This thing here?
Yes, that will get oil off the ball, so every shot is pretty much the same.
Okay.
So there's no added variables or anything. It's easier to, you know, make adjustments and make changes, so that it adds more benefit to me. It helps me make sure every shot's almost perfect.
Okay, so now let's get into the scoring a little bit, because I actually forget how it's done. So you want to explain it to me? So let's say you bowl, you hit a 3 on the first one, which you're never going to do, of course, and the second one you get a spare. So explain what a spare is and explain how the scoring
is. A spare is when on your second ball you hit all the pins down. So basically you get all the pins down.
10 pins.
There's 10
You get
pins.
3 on the first one, you get 7 on the
You get
second
7
one.
on the second one.
What bonus do you get from
If
that?
you strike, you can add 10 pins onto that score.
So if you hit a strike on the next frame, the subsequent frame,
Right.
those 10 points get added to the previous frame.
It'll say 20.
It'll say 20 in that
Yes.
frame.
Yes.
If you keep on striking, you'll have 60, then 90.
So you're going to get, so that's why you get to the perfect game,
Right.
which you guys obviously are familiar with, and I would never go near, but okay. But anyway, so you're getting the benefit, a bonus of the next 2 rolls.
Yes.
Right.
So when you hit a strike, you get the next 2 rolls added on. If those next 2 rolls are strikes, they each count as 10, 10 plus 10 plus 10, you get 30 on that, on that original frame.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
That's why
yeah.
marks are so important in bowling.
So So we're going to talk about the way you bowl. So why don't you go through that with me here?
All right. So in contrast to my brother, I bowl with my thumb in the ball.
You do.
Regular standard.
You did the old-fashioned way.
Yes.
The traditional way.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So I will have my fingers in the ball. Put your fingers in first, and then your thumb should slide in. Okay. So I will set my feet. I will see my target. Then I will just get
So now,
ready.
before you go down, before
Yeah.
you look for the arrow, are you looking at the pins at all?
No.
Unnecessary.
Unnecessary. Nope.
So people that look at the pins are doing it incorrectly,
Yes.
which is what I did for my whole life. Okay.
Well, now you're learning.
Thank you, Athena.
Uh-huh.
Very good.
I do a 5-step approach.
All right. Oh, yeah. Very good.
And I'm gonna go.
Now your release point is completely one-handed.
Right.
Where's your other hand?
My hand is off. You'll see.
Do you put it
it'll
behind
come
your
off.
back, or you?
It shouldn't come behind your back because that means that you are.
That means you're twisting your body.
That's bad. Got it.
Perfect. So here's my approach, right? Boom.
Okay.
Okay, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
Bada
Strike.
boom. Don't mess with me, pins. That's a strike.
Yes.
Now,
This should be
bowling
fun.
technique.
Yes. All right.
I'm going to watch when you do this.
So I.
Because you are my new
Again.
bowling hero. You know that? I'm going to come see you in the regionals.
That'd be awesome. Love that. I will. Yeah. I set my feet. I will. Have a target in my head of what to hit. I'll stand around.
So you're up a little further than
Yes,
you
I
said,
stand.
right?
I stand closer, so I don't rush, so I don't throw the ball all over the place. Again, only no thumb on the ball. Yeah, and I will.
I would have never believed that would happen, but that's what
It's weird, yeah.
Things have changed.
It's a big.
Everything
change.
changes,
Yeah,
right?
it's a lot of bowlers are doing that now, which is it's fun to watch. So this hand will be in front.
Yeah.
I have a glove on to grip the ball easier too.
Is this called the guide hand by any chance?
Yes, it's the guide hand.
Okay.
It basically takes the place of the thumb in now. So I will again see my target. All right. There we go.
So this is very interesting. Now, not the split. That's not what I'm interested in. No, there's a slight split, but you can't. You start on the right side, but your body ends up on the left side. But with the length of your arms, you're actually releasing on the right side.
If you can hit a mark that's way closer than the pins accurately, then you'll have a lot better shot at it.
It's like you're going like this.
Your hand should be, when it comes through the ball, it should come out.
Bang. Nailed it with no trouble. So I'm going like this. I'm going to start here.
Sure.
But my body's going to go to the left.
Yeah.
My hands are going to go to the right.
Sure.
Sure. Like that's not going to. Okay, so I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go to my right. And oh my God, look at that.
Oh my God.
It worked.
Yes, that's a better shot than I threw.
A stunning development here at Pendel Lanes.
Yeah.
All right. Oh. Ooh, it almost went in the gutter there. You see that? That was my idea. I always figured if I hit a few of them, I'm happy. You know?
Serving the community since 1974, Northeast Racket Club and Fitness Center is perfect for the whole family. We provide a complete schedule of children's activities for ages 2.5 through 12 and a full-service fitness center for teens, adults, and seniors. Our sports arena features year-round roller hockey and seasonal indoor soccer leagues. Tennis, racquetball, aquatics, basketball, dance, karate, group exercise classes are all available to groups of all ages. Stop by and bring the whole family to the Northeast Racket Club and Fitness Center at the corner of Cruisetown Road and Grand Avenue.
Hi, I'm Marty Bystrom, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. In my experience in Major League Baseball, I know how important it is for high school athletes to gain exposure. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you are a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAISAA.
Get pain-free physical therapy. At PTW, we know that sometimes physical therapy can be tough and painful, so we do whatever we can to get you feeling pain-free again. Each one of our centers is equipped with an Alter-G anti-gravity treadmill or warm water therapy pool to unload your aching joints. From pre- and post-surgery rehab, fitness programs, and work injury rehab, PTW is your go-to therapy provider. Call or visit us online to schedule your PTW visit today.
Hey, you.
Who, me?
Yes, you. Do you like pro sports?
Yeah.
You like college sports?
Of course.
You like high school sports?
I guess.
Maybe you just don't know much about them.
Hey, voice in the sky.
Huh?
Where can I go to learn more about Philadelphia area high school athletics?
Just watch Varsity Voice every Thursday on TCN and CSN.
This segment is brought to you by Sluggersville, Philadelphia's first premier year-round indoor baseball and softball training facility. With over 40,000 square feet of turf and 22 cages, Sluggersville is the largest of its kind in the area. Call 215-673-1258 to schedule your rental or training session.
Welcome back to Varsity Voice. Joining us now is Aaron Ace Carter from the Philadelphia Inquirer. And Ace, the Public League and Catholic League championships are done. Now we look ahead to the city title games. And I think out of the four, the one that most people are circling is the 5A, Wood versus King. Wood coming off the Catholic League championship. What do you think about them coming into this game, coming off that big win?
All right, I think this is a really interesting matchup. It's a case of maybe the style makes a fight here. King is a team, a defensive-minded team, wants to keep the score low in about the 50s. Archbishop Wood is probably one of the most talented, offensively talented teams in the area, if not the state. Colin Gillespie can score on all three levels, three-point line, mid-range, and at the rim. Tyree Pickeron's another one who can also do that, and Andrew Funk can come off the bench and easily get you double digits. This matchup, though, coming off the heels of winning that Catholic League championship game, there's so much momentum that comes with that. There's so much confidence that comes with that. But there's also the threat of a letdown here. You know, when you finally Wood gets its first Catholic League championship, once you finally get to that mountaintop, how do you respond when you still have games to play?
Yeah, and that's a great question. But Colin Gillespie and Tyree Pickeron, you mentioned the talent in the backcourt. I think on talent alone, Wood is pretty head and shoulders above King. But we saw King give Imhotep such a great game.
Right, and I think the thing with King is if they can keep the score low, keep it in about the 50s, just like they did against Imhotep, and if Wood doesn't shoot the ball well, just as Imhotep didn't shoot the ball well against King, I think that gives Sean Colson's team a chance. And when you have big guys down low, like Will McNair, 6'9", 250, big body, Elijah Kia-El is a little bit versatile, 6'7", can take it off the dribble. When you have guys like that, that could be a difference maker in the paint.
And you look at the backcourt, you mentioned about the front court. The backcourt pretty good for King, too. Jihad Watson had a really good game against Imhotep. But when you compare them to the Wood guards, I mean, I don't know if they've played talent like that all year. How do you think the King backcourt will handle the Wood backcourt?
Well, it's interesting because there's no back down from these kids at King. I mean, they went up against Imhotep with Dave Beatty and Deron Russell, and I think a sophomore guard like a Jihad Watson who came off the bench and he can get you double digits easily. Donnell Holly Jr. Starts for them for King as point guard, and he's become a leader on that team. So there's not going to be any back down at all. I expect the guard matchup to be interesting. The difference in the game could be Seth Pinckney, 6'11 junior for Archbishop Wood, going against Will McNair down low. And if he can stay out of foul trouble, I think that Wood has the advantage down low.
And that's a great point. You brought up some of the young guards that this team has. Sometimes young players don't know that they don't belong there. They kind of have that irrational confidence about them. And that irrational confidence can take you far sometimes. It could also sink you. But if it goes well and those kids make a couple of shots early on and they get that confidence rolling, all of a sudden they're in that game.
Yeah, and I think also the X factor is the King head coach, Sean Colson. I mean, you're talking about a guy who has experience. He played overseas, played a cup of coffee in the NBA. He is so active on the sidelines. He is going to have his kids ready to play, and I know that you followed King all year. You know, Sean Colson versus John Moscow. I think that's a great coaching matchup.
I think you're absolutely right. There's a lot of good things that Colson does, and I like the development of some of his guys. Will McNair was at Parkway Northwest last season. He's a completely different player now. Slimmed down a little bit, more aggressive in the lane, in the paint. And Elijah Kia-El and Donnell Holly Jr. transferred over from Washington. I've seen leaps and bounds in their games also. And John Moscow at Wood, you know, first Catholic League championship, led them to that. Really well coached. They execute really well. They'll steal baskets for you on inbounds plays, 6 to 8 points in a game just via that. So that gives you an idea of how well coached that team is.
And it's going to be interesting to see how McNair reacts. Now, you don't love to bring these things up, but sometimes a young kid's confidence can be shaken when something goes a little wrong. And he had a missed dunk in that Imhotep game that hurt them. I'm interested to see how he bounces back against Pinckney, because if he sees the ball go through the net a couple of times, or if he gets a big dunk early in that game, all of a sudden he's back, and that's a big boost.
Absolutely. Those big dunks, you know, they're momentum changers, and Sean Colson has been after McNair all season long to finish strong at the rim, So I'm equally as intrigued to see how he responds.
And, you know, speaking of bouncing back, Newman Goretti is going to have to bounce back after losing the Catholic League Championship and play Del Val in a rematch of that city championship from last year that Del Val won. And now we know it's a different team this year at Del Val, but still, nonetheless, I think an intriguing matchup.
Yeah, different Del Val team, but it still remains the same. It's interesting to see last season, Newman Goretti, I believe, was disappointed and deflated from losing to Roman Catholic last season. So you come into this game, this is still a dangerous Del Val team. Antoine Butler, he's a junior point guard for them, one of the top-rated point guards in the country. Makai Morris, a senior leader for Del Val, can fill it up, can absolutely score it. And they have some size on the interior. So this Del Val team is dangerous. It's going to be interesting to see. I know Newman Goretti is going to be really devastated that they lost that Catholic League Championship game. It'll be interesting to see how they turn it around.
I'm interested to see, too. And I like Del Val, as you said. They have a lot of talent, but I just don't think Quade Greene is going to let his senior season go by and not have one championship. So I don't think you're worried about the letdown that you saw last year after they lost in the Philadelphia Catholic League. I think you see a much more motivated Newman Goretti team because they don't want to let all this silverware slip through their hands in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Newman Goretti will probably bounce back, but Del Val will certainly give him a game, but we shall see what happens. That's why they play the games. Ace, thanks so much for joining us as always.
Thanks for having me.
For more information about SFBN, check out our website. It's time to make our picks, and Mike, I pulled back even with you overall. I got the GA girls game win, so make a couple of picks this week on District 12. You ready to go?
Listen, a broken clock is right twice a day, so I feel confident that I'll be able to pull back ahead.
Thanks for your confidence in me. I appreciate it. All right, let's get right into it here. District 12 5A championship should be a good one. Martin Luther King against Archbishop Wood. Who you got?
This should be a good game. I'm going to go with Archbishop Wood in this one. King, I don't want to disrespect King. They played Imhotep so tough, but I think it's hard to get to that place twice in a row. And I think that's what King's going to be dealing with. They're going to have to summon a level of energy, of anger, of all kinds of emotion to play with that level of vigor and to be able to hang with Archbishop Wood. They did it against Imhotep, kind of coming off a heartbreaking loss. I think it's going to be tough to summon that emotion twice in a row.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, but I think this game is going to be similar to the Imhotep game. I'm going with Archbishop Wood as well, but I think what you're going to see is because of King's defense, they're going to keep it close for maybe 3.5 quarters, maybe even have a lead going into that fourth quarter. But in the end, the talent of Archbishop Wood, that backcourt of Gillespie and Picaron, and the shooters they have in Cerruti and Otto, I think that's ultimately going to win out. So I think we're going to see kind of a duplicate of that
Right.
Imhotep game where they'll keep it close, but then Wood will pull away in the end. All right, and in the 3A game, Newman Goretti and Del Val, a rematch of last year.
Yeah, this should be an interesting one, right? Because this is a completely new Del Val team, but kind of a similar team in the emotion and the level that they play with. But I'm going to go with Newman Goretti in this one. I just think this team is too talented. Demir Crosby, Roundtree, Quade, Greene, Carrington Wallace in the front court who could just bounce out of the gym. There's so much talent on this team. I think Del Val plays tough, but ultimately victorious is Newman Goretti.
Yeah, I think we talked about it a little bit with Ace Carter, where Newman Goretti was kind of blindsided a little bit by Del Val last year, and I think Newman Goretti will win the game this year. They're ready for Del Val. They know what they're capable of, and the Warriors are down a little bit this year, losing some talent, and Quade Greene and Dada, they're seniors. I think they're going to want to win this game, so I think Newman Goretti wins this one. And we have no more games to pick, but we wanted to update everybody on our brackets, especially 6A, and Mike, you've done a nice job so far, I must admit.
Yeah, I'm starting to realize I might be too mean to you when it comes to predicting these things because I just hurl a different insult at you every week. But the brackets have been going well for me, which is nice because I think back to a couple of years ago when I picked North Penn to win District 1 in football and they lost in, the first round. So, I've had my fair share of tough brackets. So to actually get one right, this one feels good. So I'm going to gloat about it a little bit.
Yes, and I will give you all the kudos in the world. Nicely done, especially a perfect second round in 6A. So nicely done, Mike Samsel, and thanks for joining me as always on the show.
Always a pleasure.
Check out our highlight of the week.
The highlight of the week is brought to you by the Physical Therapy and Wellness Institute. Go to www.ptwinstitute.com to find a location near you.
Lost it, but she got away with one there. She's back into the game. Down the lane. What a nice dive by Mary Parker. Offensive rebound by Riggins. The kick out. Oh, and a follow-up slam on the air ball by Kobe Thomas. Can't get the bounce. Russell the rebound. His put back. Oh, and there is a follow-up slam by Kobe Thomas. That is going to be our stall agent.
Equipment for Varsity Voice has been provided by DMP Video. DMP Video. You provide the moment, we'll capture the memories. For more information about our videography services, please go to our website at www.dmpvid.com. The Sports Fan Base Network, this area's leader in high school sports broadcasting, is continually bringing you the most in-depth coverage. Join us for Varsity Voice every Thursday on TCN and CSN, where we'll have interviews with players, coaches, writers, and more, plus analysis, highlights, and a variety of features on major topics in the Delaware Valley high school sports community. Tune in every Thursday at 6 p.m. on TCN and 11:30 on CSN for the best and only high school sports show around, Varsity Voice, presented by SFBN.